Bud. Here we go.
Denise,
Doing good.
is everything ready?
You know that beard still doesn't give you a jawline, right, Seth?
Looks like we're live.
Outstanding.
If she's talking, she's on mute.
It's live.
All right, then let me go ahead and get us started. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to formally welcome everyone back to the House Economic Matters Committee. I would say I hope you had a great interim, but I know exactly how your interim was, so we'll skip that part. But I am glad that you all appear to be healthy, and hopefully that's the case along with your families. And I know I'm excited to be back to do the important work of the people of Maryland. So let's start with, we got some new additions to the committee this year. So we will start with Delegate Jesse Pippy. Welcome, Delegate Pippy. If you'd like to say anything,
Well, obviously, I'm very excited to be joining the committee. Heard great things. Look forward to working with each of you. I think I've worked with a few of you on a few things in the past, but it's obviously going to be a different year, and I'll do my best to contribute in a meaningful way, and look forward to getting to know more of you more closely. So thanks for having me.
Again, welcome to the committee. The members are all terrific. If you have any questions, any questions at all, please ask either myself, the vice chair, or any other member. Don't ask Delegate Wilson. If you have questions, do not go to Delegate Wilson, but the rest of us are fine. If I can, I'd like to now go to our newest staff member. She's new to most of us, but Delegate Walker, when I was talking with him in the interim, he'd be more effusive in his praise of our newest committee counsel. He told me we would just love her, that she is terrific and all of that. So I figured if you could get that from Walker, that was good enough for me. So at this time, I'd like to introduce to everybody Ms. Tiffany Clark. And Tiffany, if you'd like to address the members, we'd love to have you.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be back. I left the General Assembly for 4 years and I missed it so much. I had to come back. So I'm really glad to be back with you all, and I'm excited to work with you. So happy session.
Did you change? Did you change your name because he called you Tiffany? We don't call you Tiffany. We call you Tiffany.
I don't believe that's true.
Oh.
That's Ways and Means talk. Delegate Walker is talking. A couple of newer staff members that will be joining us as well. Miss Amy Hicks. Miss Hicks, Delegate Walker and Delegate Valderrama, you may know her mother, Jackie Hicks, from Prince George's County. And I believe Mom was a classmate of Delegate Rogers, if I am not mistaken.
Absolutely.
So Amy, if you would like to say hello to everyone.
Hello, how are you? How's everyone?
Everyone is great. Now I'm working the board here. I know we have a couple of interns with us this year. Let me slide to the second screen if I didn't get abandoned here. All right, where's the interns at? Yvonne, there you go. Miss Yvonne Harper. Yvonne, would you introduce yourself to the members of the House Economic Matters Committee?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Yvonne Harper from the University of Baltimore. I'm a master's candidate with a focus in public policy, possibly a JD as well. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Yvonne. We had an opportunity to chat a little bit yesterday. I think you guys are going to really like working with her. Super smart, and it's going to add a lot to the committee. We have another gentleman. It doesn't appear that he's with us this morning, and I do not want to butcher his name. So Laura or Bob or somebody, could you all help me out with that, please?
Yes, it's Dio Adeni. He's from the University of Maryland at College Park, also a master's candidate in public policy.
And that was also my master's as well at the University of Maryland College Park. So we had a little bonding time over that point as well. Am I missing any new additions? I think we got all of the new folks that are joining Economic Matters this year. As you saw at the beginning of the meeting when we had some technical difficulties, I think it's safe to say we need to prepare for that. We're going to need to plan for that. Technology is a wonderful thing, but it's not infallible, and we're going to have to get accustomed to glitches and hiccups and so forth. So we'll work around that. That's not going to be an issue for us. We'll roll with the punches and we'll deal with it. This year, I know it's overused, overstated, unprecedented, and those words, but that truly is the situation. But that's not going to stop us. You guys are incredibly flexible, hardworking, dedicated, committed to the citizens of the state of Maryland, and that's going to continue. We're going to continue to do our work. And also, when we're here, guys, it's important to understand that although we're working virtually, just as we're sitting here now, consider yourselves no different than if you were in the Economic Matters meeting room, with everybody in front of us. All the same rules still apply. If we're holding a hearing, please have your camera on. Certainly it has to be on it if you want to participate in any Q&A or anything like that. Same decorum, same expectations. Nothing's changed. We're just doing this virtually, but everything else that we've always done and the way we've done it, we're still going to do it that way. I humbly, respectfully ask, let's not get casual with it in terms of our approach. Let's continue to, and I know you will. It's just on my list of things to say, but I have no doubt that you guys are going to bring the same approach, the same everything that you always do. So we'll keep that in mind. We have blocks of time, and I think you may have heard some of it, but essentially the way we're going to work, and I'll ask the guys to jump in and help me as we explain it, and you too, Madam Vice Chair. On Mondays, by and large, are going to be sort of an open day. I intend to have voting. We'll probably start somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock. So, your day will be open for, well, in the college, I used to call it office hours. So, you can have your office hours, whether they're meetings with activists, lobbyists, your constituent work, whatever. I'm trying to leave that open as much as possible for you to have that time to take care of that. I'm required to give 48 hours notice before, at least through the first part of this, for voting session. So the voting list, and it has to be published. So the voting list will be out, what we're going to do on Fridays for Monday voting. Again, if I misspeak, guys, please jump in and correct me, because I want this information to be accurate. So that's how voting works. Now we have our blocks of time. We're most likely going to vote. Not vote. We're going to have hearings. Well, every day is a potential hearing day. Let me put that out. The vast majority of the time is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, but I think we're going to have Fridays on there. Certainly we got bill hearings today and tomorrow. So Fridays will be upon it, but the bulk of the time will be, I would say, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays like normal. We'll be starting at 1:30 instead of 1 o'clock. The way it's set up, the hearings for all the committees, we have blocks of time from, I think, 11 to 12:30, 1:30 to 5, and then like 6 to 8:30 or whatever. I'm not going to utilize the 6 to 8:30 time unless something crazy happens. That's not to say our hearings may not run a tad long and we go past 5 o'clock, but I'm using the 1:30 to 5 block for the bulk of it. Maybe something around 11:30, we may use that time frame a little bit, but it's highly unlikely that we're going to use that later block unless, like I said, something unforeseen happens. We will, I believe I also will be posting the bills in order as you see them on the schedule for a given day. I believe that's, the rules for the pro rata session is the expectation is I will be calling them in that order, correct?
That is correct. We're still trying to figure out how to do that.
Right. So I may not have the flexibility if you guys have something coming up or you got to go somewhere else to just change. If someone's obviously not there when I call them, then, then unless I'm told differently, I will have to go on to the next bill. But I can't, for whatever reason, if someone comes in and sees that their bill is up second and they want to go fifth or last, I can't just move it anymore like I had the flexibility previously. Again, this is for the consideration of both the members as well as the public and the stakeholders as they're trying to navigate this as well. So that there's a certain lack of flexibility as it relates to how we call that. I believe, and I don't know if Denise can answer it or someone else, but I think it's because I was talking with Delegate Wilson yesterday, and how do you know, the question came up, how do you know when you got to testify in another committee? I believe that they're going to call the offices and hopefully everyone has the Google number or whatever, and it will reroute it to your assistant. But if that doesn't work for you, you may need to certainly on that day, reach out to the assistant to the chair of that committee and leave a number that you'd like to be reached on or called on or whatever the case may be. So certainly be mindful of that. Again, that's the only way I can think of that they can notify you is to call your offices unless other arrangements have been made. The subcommittees that those are still being worked out when they'll meet. Obviously, we meet when we need to. We don't have regular meetings or meeting just to meet, but when we have that, they'll be mindful that as always, subcommittee meetings are open to the public, but they'll also be live streamed as well. So those conversations will be that. Again, they're primarily just for for you guys, anybody. It's not a second public hearing, so anybody testifies, if you will, it's at the discretion of the subcommittee to answer questions that you may have or to get additional information. But it's not to be a second public hearing. We will have done that. So I'd ask the chairman to keep that in mind as you're operating the hearings. Am I forgetting anything anything new, guys?
There are just a few basic mechanics that people need to realize. Used to be you would sign up even on the day of a hearing with the electronic sign-up system. There is a 5-hour window 2 days before the hearing, 2 business days, when is the only time when people may sign up. So for example, for today's hearings, the sign-up window was 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, and that was it. So that's for everybody who's favorable, unfavorable, favorable amendments. That was also the window in which they could upload on-time testimony. If you are going to have panels, there are no panels, but do let us know if you need people brought together to appear with you when you testify in your bills. Otherwise, we'll simply have to go one by one, witness by witness. When the witness is done, the witness is back in the waiting room or off. So you can't go back and forth with questions for earlier witnesses. That's going to be a big change for a lot of the members and staff to try to figure out. One thing about, we're going to be sending out the voting packet for Monday on Friday. We're still trying to figure out how exactly we're going to do that, but that will be the bills that will be available to vote on Monday. Not only the voting list, but also a packet of all amendments. The amendments have to be prepared by the amendment office, and they have to be sent to our committee secretary, Kayla Thompson. And please send it also to the appropriate analyst for the bill. We will include that in a voting packet that will be sent along with the voting list. Again, Friday for Monday. Otherwise, we'll give you 48 hours notice if we have a voting session scheduled at some other time. There are no oral amendments except possibly to change $5 to $10 in a prepared amendment. If you want a more extensive amendment, that'll probably result in a bill being held for the next voting session. We still have 24 members, quorum is still 13, and then 13 affirmative votes are still needed to have a bill pass out of committee. Amendments are still done by majority. Generally speaking, we'll be using, as the chairman said, the 1:30 to 5 or 5:30 voting block, hearing block. When it comes to the alcohol bills, we might start those early at an 11 o'clock block. And we have yet to figure out whether we're going to do that again on President's Day or on the following Friday and maybe the following Monday as well. We'll try not to interfere with potential voting, of course, when we do that. I'm sure that I've missed quite a bit there. If anybody else has something they want to add from the staff, that's fine. Otherwise, Mr. Chairman, I think those are the major points I wanted to make sure got across.
And I guess for the record, in case anybody's wondering, we will not be voting this coming Monday. There will be no, we'll let you know about the 25th if we'll be voting that day, but there won't be. Delegate Pippi, the other members know this, but I wanted to make sure you know, because I'm not sure how they did it on your other committee. When we do vote, we do it one time. When it's your turn to vote, that's your turn. We don't change votes or pass and come back or anything like that. When you're up, you're up. And if you either vote aye or nay, or maybe you take the rule if there's a conflict, or you can pass, whatever the case may be. But we only go through, as we say, the horn one time, and whatever your call is we try to make sure that everybody understands exactly what they're voting on, and we slow it down so that there's no mistakes. But we don't like to get into that sort of game of changing votes and all of that kind of stuff. Just sort of a pet peeve of mine, and we'll leave it at that. But we will definitely make sure that everyone knows what the question is before we ask anyone to vote on anything. Delegate Watson, I think I saw that you had a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure that since we are voting and everything is electronic, that we know where the information is being sent. So from my perspective, if we could send it to the laptop emails and our public emails, that would be helpful. In other words, the public email address that we use in my office, I don't always see that right away.
Mm-hmm.
The laptop email I see right away.
Okay, we'll get with everybody and see if we can find out what the best email is for everyone, and we'll get something worked out. We'll get it figured out.
Thank you.
I think there was someone else that had a question, but Delegate Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for point of clarification, as a committee, we're not going to be voting on Fridays. Mondays is going to be our voting day. And you said, was it 4 p.m.?
It's not in stone. And obviously, as we get busier, things will change. But right now, the plan is to vote on Mondays, no sooner than 4 o'clock. I'm thinking, and that's some more we'll talk about. But I'm thinking our voting sessions usually don't go beyond an hour. So I'm thinking somewhere around 4:30, and then we get the bills that's before us, and we'll be done within an hour. But it won't be before 4 o'clock, and probably will start between 4 and 4:30.
And so Fridays is just going to be a normal hearing day throughout with normal times of 1:30 to 5:30 with 6:30 to 8:30 possibility.
Yes, and maybe subcommittee, that could be a subcommittee day. That could be our, as I call it, the vice chairman's subcommittee. When I get together with the subcommittee chairs, that could be on that day as well. But or it could be Monday.
That's what I was getting to, is trying to find time for our subcommittees. I was just trying to visualize, but all right, you've answered the question. Thank you very much.
The subcommittee times, like I said, I'll leave that to the chairs and the analysts, but I'm envisioning Mondays and Fridays. Tuesday through Thursdays could get difficult, but if that works for the members, obviously we can make use of those as well. But I think from a standardization standpoint, we'll say Mondays and Fridays.
And Mr. Chair, one last, as far as our bills outside of this committee, because a lot of us have bills in other standing committees, you just want us to log off? Do we need to notify you? I know that as far as when we're gonna, I know you don't want a lot of people with blank screens or 10 people listening. So is there a way you want us to coordinate with you, or we just play it by ear for now?
We'll play it by ear for now, but what I'm thinking is that when you do leave for bill hearings, maybe shoot me a text or Denise or somebody, but just turn the camera off, so that way maybe we don't get into issues of trying to get back in and all of that. You'll still be in, but that would be, I guess, the only time that I would sort of encourage the camera to be off is when you're not there.
Mr. Chair, realizing that when we leave, we're going to join another Zoom. So I don't really believe that that's possible.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
We're going to be joining another Zoom meeting in another committee. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is technologically, I don't think we can do both. So we're going to have to log out, or we will be logged out of this Zoom hearing to go to another committee's hearing. And then we'll have
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's just make sure that we have some, whether Denise or Kayla or the chair knows, so we can keep track of that. And the same thing will happen if you happen to be in a hearing elsewhere when we're in a voting session. We need to know that you're excused.
And do you want us to use a chat for those things, or do you still, I mean, I think the chat's public record, correct?
Chat is public record. You may want to use a text instead.
Okay, so thank you. I think we maybe, I don't know, Denise's text, we probably need one centralized text we can all utilize, Mr. Chair. Whatever you think we should.
Well, you know what? If you're just saying you've got a bill hearing in Ways and Means, I mean, whatever, I don't see a problem putting that in the chat.
True. Okay, thank you.
Delegate Turner.
Good morning, and I'm very, very sorry that I'm a little late because don't have that skill, and I'm getting on a little late. But could you ask just to back up 1 minute and tell me what time do we? Because I'm taking notes. What did you say earlier? Did I miss? What time is our meetings?
We have windows for all the committees. There's a 11 to 12:30 window, 1:30 to 5 window, and a 6 to 8 window. Most of our hearings will be in the 1:30 to 5 window. There will be some 11 to 12:30, and it's going to be very rare for me to utilize the evening window. We will have to be backed up or something. So that third window, I mean, it's there, but that's not my plan to utilize it. We may run over a little bit from our 1:30 to 5 window, but that's the reason it just ran over. It's not the intention. So I don't know if that answers your question in its entirety.
Yeah, we meet every day in economic matters like we used to meet every Tuesday at 1 o'clock? No or yes?
No, we will meet Tuesday through Thursday, probably Tuesday through Fridays, quite frankly. But instead of 1 o'clock, they'll be starting at 1:30.
At 1:30. Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't miss too much, right?
No, you did not.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry again. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Let me go to Delegate Impalaria, then Delegate Rogers.
Hello, committee. This is, I guess, for the benefit of all of us. I'm looking at the screen and I'm noticing that some of us have titles in front of our names and some of us don't, like Veronica says Veronica Turner. Yours just says Derek Davis. For the purpose of the public watching this, do you think that could be updated, that it says Chairman Davis, Vice Chairman Dumays, and have the titles, and like you have counsel for the council, and it might make it easier for the public to know, who's who and what's going on. That's my only suggestion.
You can do
No,
that
that's
yourself for
fair.
each of you, or the host can do it as well to change your name.
Yeah, no, I'll get that corrected on mine. That's a good catch.
That's it.
Delegate Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a clarifying question for Bob with respect to panels. So I know things are being done a little bit differently, but if say we have a bill hearing in ECM and we have our subject matter expert, is it possible for us to, if we're sitting at a table, I guess you really can. I was thinking 6 feet apart and they were on a screen and we're on a screen. How would that, is it possible to do something like that, or are you just gonna have to do them individually, separately?
What we've been told is that in the software, you cannot have people sign up as a panel like they could in person. If you send us an email saying that when you're testifying on your bill, you want to have, Abel, Baker, and Charlie all sitting next to you, we could invite them all at the same time from the waiting room, but they're all signing up on an individual Zoom account or a Zoom link. We would try to, all I'm also saying is though that once they are dismissed as witnesses, there's no recall.
So how does that work for, say, questions? I think I understand what you're saying. And so let's say a question comes up from a member of the committee and, one of the advocates or for the bill subject matter experts might be the person who is able to best respond. Do they just stay on their screen, on their computer? Because I could see it could where it happened. It could happen two ways. It could be that everyone's on a separate computer, or you have one computer and the folks could rotate to in front of that screen. But I guess that way might.
You're muted, Delegate.
Yeah, I just realized that. Sorry about that, Bob.
No trouble.
What I was asking was for the purposes of responding to questions from the committee, is it going to be feasible for whoever the subject matter expert or advocate is to answer that from their laptop where they're logged on?
Yeah, I mean, the question is though, it's like with being up at the witness table, if somebody has to go testify somewhere else, they're gone.
Right, okay.
And so I'll actually leave that as well with the chairman. We're trying to figure this out because we also had people who are trying to manage the meeting at the same time in terms of letting people in, letting people out, putting them back in the waiting room or dismissing them as appropriate. I mean, if somebody's testifying on 3 different bills, we'll put them back in the waiting room. If they're only testifying on your bill, when they're done, they're gone. So otherwise we'll have a waiting room list of 35 people, which is kind of hard to manage. So we're just be patient, guys. We're all learning this as we go along. And so some of this we've talked through, but until we actually go live, for example, this afternoon, we really won't know how it's going to work. So we're doing our best.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, did I misspeak?
Nope. Anybody else, please jump in because I may miss you otherwise. Delegate
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Charkoudian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank Denise and all the staff. I have a hearing this afternoon, and I know it's been some of this chaos, like building the airplane while we fly it. And Denise has gone out of her way, and other staff have as well, to get our folks signed up and through glitches. So I know we're going to be patient with each other, but there's just been extraordinary work behind the scenes to get us to this point, and I just want to acknowledge that and thank you all.
Don't make me have to give her a raise, Delegate Charkoudian.
I'm gonna negotiate on her behalf when you'll have that conversation.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, if not, like I said, this was just to have a few words about how we're going to proceed. Believe me, I know this is going to be trial and error. And yes, Delegate Charkoudian's right. We do need to be patient with each other, as flexible as we can be. I think we'll get a rhythm at some point in terms of, how this is going to go. But like anything else, getting out the gate, it's going to be a few hiccups and glitches, but we'll get that worked out. And I'm confident by the time the work really starts rolling, we'll have a rhythm down. Yes, I will definitely talk to them. Since I see, most of you have your laptops, I'll see if we can send out the notices to your laptops as opposed to the others. Delegate Impalaria is right. We should have our appropriate titles, for public consumption, so that they'll know who they're talking to. So I'll certainly make that change. Again, good catch, Rick. Delegate Impalaria. So we'll get that taken care of. I think that's about it. That again, this won't be the last time. If any Delegate Mounts.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to go late tonight? What's your prediction for hearings for this afternoon?
We have 3 bills. I don't think they're going to be our 3 weightiest bills in terms of witnesses and length. It could be an hour or less. Okay. So that'll, but this will just get us out to shoot and get us good, get us a good feel for how this works. Having said that, now that I think about it, there's this flower branch bill that I don't know how that's going to go, but the other 2 should get us through pretty quickly. But no, this will this shouldn't be too long. This shouldn't be too bad.
From staff's perspective, just a couple of things. First of all, these 3 bills were all put on the calendar because they all passed this House with in the form that they were dropped in this year. So they should be relatively straightforward for the committee, unless Delegate Motz, you've got your mayors go on and on and on and on again.
On top of that, I got virtual learning going on at the same time. So I got
okay.
I didn't know my schedule quite for today. I got it now. We'll be expeditious. Thank you.
Very good.
We'll get it done. All right, guys, grab lunch. And we'll start promptly at 1:30. I'm about to head to Annapolis now, and I'm going to conduct the hearing from my Annapolis office. Mm-hmm. All right. Take care, and thank you all very much.